Hey everybody, clearing. All right, a few beautiful announcements before we begin. I've just opened October sessions, so please grab a session with me. These intense energies since the eclipses are something else, and I would love to help you make sense of what has happened, what seems counterintuitive, what you need some support and clarity on so that you can get on track in the highest, because I assure you what's happened over September is in your highest and best interest. You just may not see how yet. So I'm here to help. Get a session with me if that resonates. Secondly, I'm so excited because I was just designing all day today. I took some time to start working away at the preparation for Sacred Union workshop that I'm going to do. It's an 8-week series and I'm just designing it now. I believe it's going to start the first week of November on Wednesday evenings Pacific Standard Time from 6 till 8, maybe a little later. I really hope you mark your calendar because it's going to be a total transformation and get you in touch with your deepest truth so you can show up fully in Sacred Union. Okay, and what else? Like, share, subscribe. Let's dive in. So thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through. What can we see for the collective that joins me here? Divine Feminines, Divine Masculines. What is going on in the connections from each perspective? What are the divine masculines thinking, feeling, wishing, doing, challenged by, solving, and up to in the next few weeks in the connections? And likewise, where are the divine feminines at regarding all of those points of interest? One more deck for how the feminines are viewing their masculine. I have a deck for how the masculines are viewing their feminine in these regard. All right, here we go. In the connection space, regarding the connection, we have the Five of Pentacles. So there's some loyalty here. I'm drawn to the person wearing what looks like a fur coat, and I'm hearing there's protection in this spaciousness. There's loyalty in this spaciousness. There's an alliance in this spaciousness. Separation is an illusion. I'm also seeing this protection of the stars, this cosmic protection. There is nothing more protected than love in the universe. Nothing. And so even when you are in periods of spaciousness, separation, we would call it in the material realm, there is an energetic backing that is rooting for you, cheering you on, supporting you. You're never alone in this process. And as hard as it is to believe sometimes, when we're in separation, that's where the foundation is laid at certain times on the journey towards authentic sacred union. So that's what's going on right now. It's mustering the divine perspective about what's going on in your reality, the lessons you're learning, the wisdom you're anchoring. How are the masculines journeying at this time? Four of Pentacles, so they're opening their heart. I heard they're getting past the spastastic limits that they used to be triggered by. They are truly seeing it's better to focus on how to bring success here than to walk away. They can't do it. I can't quit you. I just heard. And how does this relate to the feminine? Wow, union. It's very challenging. It's challenging them to put down their ego and go beyond scarcity, lack, competition templates. They don't want a foundation in fear anymore. They want a foundation in love. How is this affecting the feminines, this spaciousness? They are not going to be the ones to move this forward. The feminines are realizing where they've driven connections, karmic connections, where they've run the show, where they've been in a more dominant masculine energy. That is not what they want to do this time. What can we see for how that relates to the masculines? Wow, we've got another 4. So we've got 444 here. It's sinking in how beautifully this connection has helped the feminines put the brakes on doing the most. What's going on in the conscious mind of the counterparts for each other? King of Cups, so much unexpressed love. How are the masculines experiencing this? The High Priestess, they're finding moments of deep knowing about how they feel about you, Divine Feminine. And this is mercy, humility, compassion. This is the heart opening. They're seeing things beyond the ego here, and that this connection is more valuable than pride. Ooh, love is stronger than pride. How does this relate to the feminine? They're seeing truths confirmed. They're knowing things within and having external confirmation shown to them. Some signs, synchronicities, things that people are saying, but also evidence in how you've been showing up based on how they feel. It's a confirmation of the love. How are the feminines experiencing this deep love? Queen of Swords, standing on their truth. They know how they feel about you, masculines. These feminines know that they have done everything that they can to offer the purest of love towards you. What more can I do? I'm hearing. And how does that relate to the masculine? 6 of water. I wanted to say the feminines are pining, but it's not quite that dire. They're just, wondering on Most High, will this come together? There is so much love here. How could it not? And still they are left wondering, what is the heart space in the connection? 6 of Pentacles, reciprocity. So it's being illuminated to both counterparts what they've been doing too much of and what they haven't been getting enough of or doing enough of. They're seeing the imbalances. Each connection is slightly different, so each connection will have its own ups and downs, glitches, imbalances. How are the masculines viewing this awareness? 4 of Swords, they don't want strife anymore. They're seeing these patterns that were karmic in nature, the imprinting that they've had. They don't want to recreate those drama loops in this connection. How does it relate to you, feminine? They're surrendering to love. I heard they don't want to be right and alone. Is right really right or not? They're contemplating what is right, what is a deal breaker, what is not worthy of fighting about. Can it be looked at in a different way? Can there be a different truth seen that brings equality and equal give and take? We don't need to compromise. We're not being asked to compromise in divine love. And so if it feels like we would need to compromise with a divine counterpart, we may not be looking at the circumstance or issue with eyes of love, is what I just heard. How are the feminines aware of this on the heart space? They're getting divine intel straight from source, transmissions, downloads. This is really showing the feminines where they don't have to do anything further. The seat of peace, this divine feminine here as the Queen of Swords, they are being shown how staying in this seated position is not a negative motion. It's not waiting, but it's not doing. It's knowing. What can we see for how this relates to the masculines? Page of Fire. There's prayer going on. The feminines are praying for instruction in their life. They are an open channel of getting these downloads. I'm feeling that the feminines are doing enough in their own lives. They don't actually desire to do more unwarranted towards the masculines. Because the feminines are activating on such a spiritual level, they have more than enough inspiration without making the masculine their sole focus for inspiration. So there's a sense of the obsession, the limerence being released here, and the feminines coming into the accountability for their own material realm experience. And it's becoming diverse and rich, and there's an expansion going on in the, I don't know astrologically which house it is, but it has to do with career, finance, purpose. If you're an astrologer, let me know and tell me why I'm picking up on that energy in the comments below. But there is an expansion for the feminines with their spiritual work, with their purpose right now. And so there's a shift from the masculine being that focus to the feminine's choices and actions as such being more of a focus at this time. What can we see on the heart space for each other? 7 of Pentacles. Wow, we have the heart chakra illuminated here. There's a glowing recognition that we are in between worlds, all these spirit horses, but then the pentacles in the material realm. It's like a bridge. I heard planeswalker, interdimensional awareness, multidimensional factors, awareness. On the heart space, this heart opening is allowing for more sensitivity with reading energy beyond just what's happening in the physical. So with this spaciousness, there is more of a sensitivity coming in. How are the masculines feeling this on the heart space? 5 of Cups, Lord of loss and pleasure. Ain't no sunshine when my feminine's gone. Literally, the masculines are viewing their lives as not holding as much vibrancy without, I'm hearing without someone like the feminine in my life, or without the feminine in my life. So some are going to be at a slightly different level of perception here in the collective, but there is a graying, a beiging, a dulling energy here that the masculines are realizing they're more at their best with the feminine in their life. What are they looking at regarding the feminine? The world in the inverse. So they know that there are cycles that need to close out. That can be material realm circumstances, that can be karma, that can be other relationships, that can be circumstances that have been a factor in some way. It can be patterns, it can be belief systems, but they are aware that something has to come to an end. And I'm feeling that if it's an attitude or belief within the masculines, they're realizing this issue of pride, the shadow aspect, that their pride has kept them reserved. It's not all just unicorns and rainbows and the masculines feeling like they're justified in their choices and their position here. It also does feel like they know they have to end certain perspectives or governing beliefs, but they also see that there is something in the feminine's lives that they have been curious about, whether or not it impacts the alignment of love here. So there seems to be a waiting, a curiosity to come to a resolution about those energies on the masculine side. What do the feminines, are they experiencing right now? 10 of Cups. So actually what I'm getting for the feminines is they are asking themselves in this prolonged spaciousness, does this masculine actually make me happy? What is it about this masculine that I have believed in the past was divine? Do I still believe that at this time? Is there more to life and relationship than what I have told myself there has been? There is a baby in this card, so there may also be consideration of whether or not children are going to happen. I'm hearing biological clock ticking, and these feminines wondering if it will be too late by the time these connections come together to have a child. In many of these scenarios, don't take that message if it doesn't resonate. It can be working together. There can be themes of passion projects that the feminines had at one point thought would come together with this particular masculine, and they're seeing that possibly their happiness that way lays elsewhere. This expansion that the feminines are going through is allowing them the permission not to wait for their masculine in the matters of purpose, but also a certain group of feminines are allowing themselves to let go of the particular masculine, the idea of having a child with this particular masculine. Take that how it resonates for your situation. If it does, how does this apply to the feminine or to the masculine? Emperor. I'm getting that this is the energy that the feminines are embodying, where there is no lack regarding whether the masculine shows up or not. There are storylines being dropped about the significance of this particular masculine in certain ways in these feminines' lives. They are coming into their wholeness, regardless if this masculine stands beside them in purpose and children. They're looking at expanding and embodying all of those aspects in their own right and not putting it on this masculine to be that for them. But it doesn't feel like a concession. It feels like peace. The world in the inverse could relate to some of these pressures from the masculines. These masculines could be feeling torn between some of the things that they know these feminines have wanted, but that these masculines have been undecided. There is a releasing period here. I'm feeling that it's not so much giving up on these ideas, but it's not putting pressure to have it happen in a certain way, on a certain timeline, with a certain person. It's all being dropped in lieu of God's will be done. So the fear associated with these things not being available is being released here. And that's what I'm seeing, this stretching on the heart space. What can we see for the manifestations that we're all being guided? 5 of Wands. Staying as that anchor of peace in the midst of volcanic eruptions, natural disasters, inclement weather. This is like really staying in the safety of connection with divine, with relationship to self, knowing what our core truths are. If you don't know how to do that, my course is going to really get you tuned up into knowing that strategy on so many levels. I just want to say, how are the masculines relating to this energy of wanting to manifest peace in their life, in their awareness? Princess of Pentacles, taking one day at a time, breathing into it, breathing exercises, mindfulness practices. Oh, I just heard I'm shifting the type of music I'm listening to. I didn't know classical music was so good. I just heard. What can we see for how this relates to the feminines? There is a reunion, a softening, putting down of pride, letting bygones be bygones, adoring I heard the dramatic history, but the drama in these connections differs from the mayhem of the karmic kind of battle, the tug of war. The drama here is more that we can't be together or the obstacles are frustrating, rather than an actual conflict of alignment. With karmic drama, it's a push-pull in a different way. What can we see for the feminines here? The Five of Wands can also be clearing out and differentiating between karma and truth, soul alignment and convenience. What are the feminines experiencing? It feels like the feminines ramped up thinking that something was going to play out here with the masculines, and it didn't happen. And so the feminines are staying in their peace regardless of what showed up or didn't. How does this relate to the masculines? It's like they're like, where's the masculine in the material realm? So the feminines are saying it's not that they feel it's over, it's that they did definitely feel something coming in, and now they're still anticipating what will happen next, but they're staying in peace while so many karmic things play out. There is a sense of protection that I'm feeling on the feminine energy side here, that while they thought something was going to happen, they know that it didn't eliminate that potential, but it does feel like there's some sort of karmic explosion or volcanic energy going on that was unforeseen that prevented it from coming in. And all the while, it feels like instead of feeling like something had to be closed out before this can come in, it feels like there's a shift, that these feminines are realizing that things don't have to be perfect before this comes in. It's like a mindset shift. The tables are turning that way. It feels like these feminines are now balanced enough that these divine connections can start to come in even before the karmic hailstorm has quieted. So the feminines are softening the edges of what they have thought was necessary. What can we see for the action? Six of Wands, this is victory. So both counterparts are experiencing victory in their lives and with the way that they are looking at these connections. How are the masculines experiencing this? Six of Cups, they're looking at what they would love to experience coming together, reuniting, the things they've missed about their divine counterpart, the things they haven't ever given and received in relationship. They're starting to imagine doing those things with you, divine feminine. That's a beautiful message. I am very romantic, you know, I just heard the masculines say. And so in some way they haven't felt safe or loved enough to offer that truly romantic aspect because they didn't want to be made a fool of in the past. You haven't seen anything yet. Just you wait. I heard, oh, what can we see for how that pertains to the feminines? There's so much more going on than meets the eye. These masculines are really cherishing the feminines here. This victory card is going from the masculine side with this Star of Hope. And I'm really getting that this is the feminine trying not to be discouraged at this time. And then it's giving sort of an in the nick of time, the masculines are coming in with some kind of sparkling hope. It feels like they want to encourage you, feminines. It may not be time just yet, but it does feel like the masculines want to show you what's coming. Yeah, I am getting this feeling that the masculines realize they haven't been as transparent with just how much heart they're putting into your future, your potentially shared, probably shared future. How are the feminines experiencing this victorious energy? Okay, we have the Queen of Wands, which is inverted, which means deeply anchoring our worthiness, feeling into what is important, what matters, what is sacred to us, what is the view of all the masculine, and we get the Queen of Wands again. So deeply looking at what resonates internally and seeing the confirmation of who the divine feminine has become regarding their masculine. So this first person checklist, the things that you can hold your head high about feminines, that's the victory here, is you've become the partner that you would wish to partner with. You've become the embodiment of truth, of righteousness, of love on all levels. This is the spiritually embodied queen, my divine feminine twin flame, the soul ignited, aligned feminine. It really is a magnetic energy to your counterpart here, feminines. I've got crystals folded into my shirts, or my shirt sleeves. I thought they would stay there. It's kind of fun. But they're not staying. They keep flipping out. Okay, what is the biggest challenge for the connections? Princess of Pentacles, continuing to be present while not knowing exactly what's going on in the lives of the other. What is the masculine experiencing here? Queen of Cups, it's testing the masculine's resolve, intuition, psychic gifts. How does this relate to the feminines? Masculines are understanding what patterns, behaviors, thoughts, interactions, relationships they continue to need to balance out, to prepare. It feels like a deep, intrinsic emotional process. Specifically hearing, I don't need to be so nihilistic or stoic or reserved or cold. There's a thawing out. I know these glasses are broken, but I'm actually getting that it's more of a thawing energy than a broken energy. Possibly recognizing that a certain kind of aloofness or numbness was due to feeling broken, not wanting to experience heartache. But this prolonged safety in these connections is helping the masculines confirm that they don't need to fear like that here, step by step. How are the feminines experiencing this challenge? Knight of Swords. This sword is very up close and personal. So the feminines are very much seeing how even their well-meaning thoughts, actions, shares have been more about them than the masculine in some ways. They're seeing the impact of their choices, their actions. We got the message earlier that the feminines are practicing being in the resonance of sitting still, of not doing, of not having to take the action, of not having to say everything out loud or share everything, and trusting the resonance will be felt. How does this relate to the masculine? King of Earth, this is the feminine committing to self, practicing what they preach, embodying it, bringing it in, turning it inward on themselves, the things they feel to connect with you, masculines. These feminines are anchoring those truths within instead of venting or communicating unsolicited with you. They are calling it in on a deeper level. They're looking at the energy within themselves instead of sharing it at this time. What is the solution to this challenge? The Lovers, continuing to do what love would do. What can we see for how the masculines are navigating that? The Queen of Swords, Queen of the Thrones of Air. So right now the masculines are looking at all of the negative feedback they've gotten from karmic partners that have been off with your head, you're not good enough, you're not da-da-da, you're doing da-da-da-da-da. The masculines are having this replay going on in their minds. For one, the divine feminines have not conducted themselves that way regarding the masculines. The masculines were accustomed to that, and divine feminines, you broke the mold that way. And the masculines are realizing that, but they're also humbling themselves enough to see that a lot of feminine karmic energy said similar things that were a pattern for each masculine in their own right. And these masculines are allowing those themes to be shown to them. They're actually receiving the gift that those repeat patterns and messages from karmic feminine energy has offered. That does not mean they were meant to be with those feminines, but those feminines were still using feminine intuition to know, and they hit the nail on the head with those criticisms for the masculines. And so these masculines are actually taking heed of the things that karmic feminine energy has suggested or pinpointed for them. How does this relate to the feminine? This is allowing them to have a fresh new start, free from those patterns, because they understand those patterns are not life affirming regardless. And even if these karmic energies were the ones that the masculines had to hear it from, so be it, because that does save you from having to be that one feminines that needs to give that feedback to the masculines. The masculines don't want to retain those lower vibrational reverberations into this connection. And so they are taking heed. How are the feminines anchoring the love in? Again, we've got this focusing on self, practicing what we preach, anchoring it in, making sure that we are what we say we want in our masculine. How does that relate to the masculine? There are so many ways that it could relate. We have the 7 of water, so there's unconditional love. This is patience, it's kindness, it's all the things love is. And when we do this unto ourselves, we can truly show up that way with a partner. What is the direction in the next few weeks? 8 of Pentacles. Okay, so there is collaboration and taking something to the next level in this connection. So there's going to be a shift or a change or something that the two acknowledge, collaborate, talk about, change. I'm actually feeling there's going to be a change in the connection. So whether that's something that has been obvious and undesirable leaves, more communication comes in, a new agreement comes in, a plan. There's something here where the two get to know what they're working towards regarding the other. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean the relationship, but I am not ruling out the masculines offering moving in together, deepening the commitment, becoming exclusive. This can be wanting to meet up on a date, wanting to talk. How are the masculines experiencing this energy of being pulled into togetherness? They're just curious of what will happen. It's like a rush has come over them. The Princess of Swords. They've seen something or become aware of something that they have realized the winds of change in this connection, the way they feel about the feminine, the liberty that they feel they can take now, whereas in the past it wasn't permissible, advisable, beneficial, I heard, to come closer. It feels like a testing the waters and wanting to know something about where the feminine stands regarding whatever next steps could happen here. What can we see for the way they are being affected, or the feminine is seen? Judgment. This is a card of revelation and seeing things for what they are. It's also a card of karma. We saw that the masculines are opening their hearts and wanting more togetherness with the feminines, but it's also something that they're understanding about the process of karma and releasing karma. it feels like these masculines are starting to become more curious about the impact you've had on them, feminines, and also curious about the impact they've had on you in certain ways. It's like it's dawning on them that you may have made choices, legitimate life choices, changes, sincerely because of the positive influence they've had in your life. And it's not even direct, it's like indirect. They're curious if you see their indirect safety and protection of you as beneficial the way they do, is what I'm hearing. Even though you may have wanted them to be more direct with their approach, these masculines are wondering if you've picked up on something that they've done that was indirect, which can even mean not coming forward prematurely and the effect it's had on your life, feminines. What can we see for how the divine feminines are experiencing the next little while? Devil in the reverse. This is a very mirrored card. So there's something that you thought your masculine was responsible for that wasn't going your way, feminines, and this is really a flip, a 180 flip of that script, and now you're going to be seeing it in a different way. It's a blessing in disguise. What you thought your masculine wasn't doing enough of, or was doing too much in an undesirable way, something here is going to shift your perspective, and you're going to see it much, much differently going forward here. I'm not ruling out that your masculine could ask you a question that causes you to face some kind of assumption that you've made, because the nature of your masculine's question will show care and depth in a way you did not anticipate when you were buying into some sort of illusion, likely about the love not being here. What can we see for the way this relates to the masculine? Yes, there's an internal tower moment, a restructuring here. So masculines are seeing the light and possibly initiating the feminines with food for thought here. And the feminines are having a major, undeniable tower moment about something being better than they thought. Wow, that's exciting. I can't wait. I would love to have that. Bring it on. Bring it on. Okay, what can we see for final cards here? One card for the masculines. Lion spirit. Be generous of spirit, masculines. So there does seem to be a need for you to offer something to your feminine where you're not so buttoned down, or keeping your perceptions, your truth, your revelation under wraps. You know, sometimes we can be afraid that we will come across as talking down to someone, so we don't express, we don't explain. Sometimes we're afraid of looking like we're wrong, or that we don't know something, and so we hold back. But there's something here, masculines, where you're being asked to take the time to actually share and express, or to offer something. I'm hearing for some this might be a physical gift. Be generous of spirit. I'm hearing the divine say, with your feminine will never take. The divine template is that you give, masculines, and your feminine multiplies whatever you give. You give them a house, they make it a home. You give them a baby, they become an excellent mother. You know, this is not going to resonate for everyone, but those analogies, see what happens when you start investing into your feminine directly here. It feels, feminines, that your masculines are wishing to find a way to actually start investing in this connection in a highly romantic way, a very personalized way. Wow. What can we see for the feminines? That one. Reclaim your power. So it's never been rejection. It's all been blessing, feminines, every little bit of it. So if you're seeing this as a disempowering journey, either you're not in the connection that is going to be an empowering one, or you're looking at this connection ineffectively. And it's time to bring that back. Wow, we got the 44. We had the 444. Comment 44 or 444 in the comments below if that number is resonating recently. And many blessings, everyone. Bye for now. Boop.